What's up gamers, Peppa's Dominion here, coming at you with the StoneAge World video. So today we're going to be talking about normal mode, and I'm in the final chapter of normal mode as I just hit level 85. So without further ado, let's get into it. So in normal mode, you have a few different requirements you need to do in order to get through each mission and get all the rewards. As you can read them: defeat all enemies, win within a certain amount of turns, use trainer skills, and challenge evaluator survival. So I'm going to go ahead and start and talk about some of those. So obviously defeating all enemies means you just have to kill everyone. Doing it in a certain amount of turns, also kind of self-explanatory, not too hard there. Then you have to use a trainer skill, and that can be a little bit more challenging if you beat it too quickly. If you don't beat it quickly, it's not hard, but when you're at this stage, it can be challenging. And then the final one is challenge evaluator survival. And I see a lot of people confused about that, and so what that means is just that the person who is labeled as challenge evaluator, who's a little girl in the back as you see that's taunted right now, sorry about that, low battery, she has to survive. So if you have a lot of AoE power going in, you might want to lay off a little bit. You see, I put a couple of my people on defense, that way they don't kill her, and I was able to get just lucky enough not to kill her. So therefore, she will retreat at the beginning of this turn, so I'm just going to make everybody go do defense. She normally retreats around turn 3, so you have to not kill her before that point. And as long as you do, then you're going to achieve the mission, pass the test. As we'll see in just a moment, she finally ran away. We get all the rewards. We did that one. So let's move on to the next one. Alright, so let's move on to 8-2, see what it's going to throw at us. Once the bottom two are use defense 3 times and defeat Mechamaniac. So that can be a little bit tricky because you have to get defense to go off 3 different times, but in doing that, Mechamaniac will also try to run away like Challenge Evaluator. But instead of keeping him alive, you want to kill him before he can run away. But the problem with that is, if I've got my people on defense, as you see, I just throw them all on defense on the first turn and then I'll switch it after that. But if he runs away before I can get him, then you have to do the battle over again. So let's see what happens here. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and speed up the battle a little bit. Shouldn't take too long, because I've got a pretty decent amount of AoE force there from Manmo. Everybody else pitching in, mostly with their single target stuff until we get to ultimates. But that's okay, no big deal. There goes Manmo, just wrecking face. Alright, so let's move on to 8-3, see what it wants us to do this time. Alright, pet ultimate skills and pet active skills. So, in case you don't know, your pet active skill is the first main skill that a pet has. It has the basic attack, basic defense, then it has your pet active skill and your pet ultimate skill. Those are based off of energy. So, all active skills require 2 energy typically, and ultimate usually requires 4 energy. So everybody can do an active skill right off the bat. But if you're on auto and you put them on ultimate skill, they're going to use a basic attack. That way they'll generate more energy in order to be able to use ultimates faster. So I can't put them on ultimate and hope that they're going to do their active attack first, because they're not going to do that. So I tell everybody to use however many active attacks I need. I'll put that up first when I'm on auto for their first turn, and then I'll switch them to ultimates after that, hoping I'll get them all in before the round ends. And in this case, it looks like I was successful, so we'll move on to the next one. Next one being 8-4. Let's see what they're throwing at us. Looks like we have one or less ally exhausted and enter a battle with AoE. So enter a battle with AoE means the type of character that you have. So I'm going to go over to the lineup. I'm going to highlight over my Kyrios down there. He is an AoE type. That's what it means by enter a battle with AoE. Then, as you see, I've got a suppress, a defense, an attack, another suppress, and then let me find, I don't have a healer in the lineup, but I've got a healer down there. So those are the different types on the pets. That's what it means by enter a battle with AoE, not with an AoE skill, because that'd just be silly. Lots of pets have AoE skills. So in this one, that's pretty easy. I've entered it, so that one's already accomplished. I think we had to beat it within 5 turns. Pretty easy, and none of my pets can get exhausted, which means they can't pass out in this round. That shouldn't be a problem either. It's another fairly weak lineup. So let's just go ahead and finish it off and see what happens. Okay, so while we're waiting for this to finish out, I'm going to talk about one of the things that frustrates me with normal mode is that it's level gated to level 85 for this final stage. It doesn't make any sense. This content is not difficult enough for level 85. If you look at the main missions, and I'll pause for a second to show that we finished, we got all these quests or goals, whatever they're called. And so we're moving on to the next one. It looks like ultimate and active skills again. We've already talked about that. So it doesn't make sense because the main quest, some of the battles you have to have there require over 100,000 power. And these battles are what, 40, 50, 60,000? It's far less power, far less challenging. Doesn't make sense. I think what the Netmarble needs to do is go back, make the max cap 75. As you'll see later, that the hardest battle in this one is a little bit higher power than my lineup, but still that shouldn't be a level 85 factor. That should be maybe level 75 max. So I think they need to go back and adjust that because it's just silly to have to wait till level 85 to beat extremely easy content. So it's kind of a mistake, I think, on their part. Maybe it's something they just didn't test out, or they just wanted to have content available. I don't know. But as you see here, I finished the battle, got all the accomplishments there. We'll move on to 8-6. This one wants us to use a trainer skill and a pet ultimate skill. So you just have to make sure not to kill all the enemies before the trainer gets there, or before we can get to ultimate. You can't use your ultimate skills in the first round because you only have 2 energy, so you have to make sure you save up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is make sure that all my pets are labeled as ultimates, except for my Mamo because I like his AoE. That way they can use their basics and generate more energy. And as I do that, my trainer only has to use an attack 1 time. And when it says use a trainer skill, it's not talking about your ultimate skill. It's talking about any random skill in general. So all I have to do is just get something off, and he's good to go. And it works. So I'll just keep going here, get those ultimates off soon, and we'll be good to go. So my bunny finishes off the Falchion. There we go, completed those. We'll move on to the next one. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now we're on to 8-7. Let's see what's going to throw at us. 50% of you and your pets HP or higher, and 1 or less allies exhausted. So 1 can't die, and you have to keep your pet's health high. That shouldn't be too challenging again, because again, my team is way too powerful for these missions. It's just easy to beat them because I've already prepped my team to beat much more challenging missions in the main quest line. In fact, at level 85, most people have already finished Dojo 100 by this stage. And if you can beat Dojo 100, these battles seem like a cakewalk. That just doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm ranting too much about this, but I just don't think that it should be gated to level 85. Either way, maybe that's just me. Maybe you guys feel the same way. Who knows? As we finish this up, it's really quick knowing that my team's power is enough to take on all these missions without much of a challenge. As we go through it, I don't even manual these. They don't require manualing. I do manual battles when I need to, especially things that seem a little bit challenging, but when it's something I know that just kind of a waste of time, I don't. So when I'm in arena or stadium, something like that, that's when I'll go through a manual. That way I make sure all the right skills get chosen, because AI is a little bit crazy. So as we see, finished all those goals as well. And here we are on the final battle, and it wants us to use defense 3 times and make sure the challenge evaluator survives again, which we've already been through what that does, but we'll go ahead and finish the video up anyway, because why not? So let's go for it. But as you notice, the team's power is higher than mine here at 84,000. Mine's still in the 70s, which is not too hard to beat, as I've beaten teams with 130,000 power before, because this is a really good team setup. Not too challenging. So you see that I throw a couple of my pets with defense on, only 2 of them, so I'll make sure that in round 2, 1 pet does defense again. That way I get defense 3 times. and then I'll try to make sure we just mow everybody down except the challenge evaluator. But we'll see what happens, won't we? Alright, I'm going to go ahead and speed up the rest of this battle, that way we can get through it, since we've already talked about most of the key points, how to make sure you do all the missions the way that they want you to. Oh no, I just let the challenge evaluator die. Well, I guess that's a good thing. Why is it good, you ask? I'll tell you. Because now you can see what it's like when you don't get challenge evaluator on the first time. Or you can see that you get 3 of the rewards, but not all 4. So you can just do it again. You can do it as many times as you want. But this time I don't have to do any of the other 3 parts of the mission, so I don't have to use defense 3 times this time. So I can just go in there and try to weaken him a little bit with some Mammo AoE, and then I'm going to put him on defense after that. That way he doesn't kill everyone. Then I'm just going to pick out some single targets to crush, but without actually killing challenge evaluator, so she has time to flee on the 3rd turn. And other than that, it's pretty easy peasy once again. So we've talked about kind of entering battles with AoE or entering with defense, entering with heal. That just means the type of character or type of pet that you have. And then when you defeat Mechamaniac, you have to kill him before he runs away. When you have to keep challenge evaluator alive, you have to make sure she survives, which is usually turn 3 that she leaves. Then you use defense, just kind of make sure you put your pets on defense attacks. Then you use actives and you use ultimates. So that is normal mode chapter 8. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you did, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.